diaspora. We have 5 regions in Africa, which is the West Africa, the East Africa, the South Africa, the Central Africa, and the North Africa. Now, the 6th region will be the African American and the black in diaspora, which constitute the Brazilian black, then the people in the island. And they now look at if there is a place, a meeting place, that will now showcase and promote Africa before even coming to Africa. It will create more awareness and more exposure to the values of Africa. And by so doing, it will now draw a lot of interest. This is why the concept of African village will be a great infrastructure to the development of business, tourism, education, technology between the diaspora and the African continent. This is why the concept is on the ground, and this is why they approve it. In what area or what terms and conditions, what benefit do you think the diaspora will be able to contribute to the success of this village, and what benefit do you think, with what I've just explained, will accrue to the diaspora through this village?
I think the first thing, Chief, is that the diaspora knows that we are part of Africa. We are back there. We come back to our roots. That's the first part. The second part, we will know more about the African Americans, the Afro-Brazilians, the islands, and we will create more ties among our people. And you know what? We'll be stronger. So I think the point here is to come together and know that we belong to each other. And the second point, what can we do together? What can we show the world? Let's do it. Let's show the world that Africa and the diaspora are the same. How about to see these wonderful African Americans that are here for so long, 500 years, and never perhaps came back to Africa, and now they say, oh, we belong to Africa. And that is the moment to say, we are the Africans from the diaspora. And here come another Brazilian and say, oh, now I know also where I come from. This synergy, this is good to belong to. I belong to these people, and I don't shame. I have no shame. I am proud of it. So that this village can be a great success to bring people together. People to people diplomacy. Wonderful.
Okay, thank you very much. The African Union is contemplating to have United States of Africa. We know before the colonial era, there is only kingdoms and empire. But during the colonial, we have the different fashion of Africa, the Anglophone Africa, the Francophone, the Spanish Africa, the Italian Africa. Now they are now proposing to have United States of Africa. And with that, they are trying to formulate that Africa should have one common currency and lingua franca. As a Brazilian black, and because Brazil constitutes the largest and the biggest diaspora people, what is your thinking about this, and what message do you have to share the world about this initiative?
I think this initiative is very good. It's a time for that. We are at a time, the globalization, but exactly now that we have this mood of globalization, everybody needs to know where they belong to. And I mean, to have their own currency in Africa will be a great project. And but it's not impossible. It's possible. And I think the entire world will profit from it. See Africa more together and not divided, and not colonies, and not going into identify with a country that they have nothing to do with them. So like the European countries. Be their own, be themselves, and have their own currency. That would be great. I think that will be successful for all of us. And I'm looking forward to see that success.
Let's go into some of the qualities that made Brazil. Soccer is one of the greatest qualities that bring Brazil to the top line. especially when we are talking of winning the World Cup, what Pele has created. And Brazil is being looked up to in the area of sports as one of the strongest countries that have invested a lot of interest. Do you think from the example of what Brazil has created, what do you think the other countries should learn in the area of sport and how they can use the sport to build the image like Brazil?
I want to bring a wonderful news here that I heard that in the country where we have war now, which is, I'm sorry, no, Iraq. Iraq did won a region championship in soccer. And when they finished, also at the time that they were in war, some commentators said, wow, soccer did more unity among these people than all the money that America sent to rebuild Iraq. I want to say to you that that is definitely the sport that put more people at the same moment, at the same time in the world to see something. And that we can use the soccer to unify many countries. And Brazil is an example of it. When we have a soccer game, we can have 108 million Brazilians seeing the same time the game. And it's a peaceful game. It's a game that can bring people, take kids off the street because it's a passionate game. And they don't need too many extra outfits. You can go without shoes and you can play well. You don't need anything. You need only you and your talent, your flexibility, and everything what God gave to you. That's why soccer is so popular in our country. Every single boy, and now every single girl, learned that they can do something without going to a course. They have it in the blood. And what I can say to Africa, say, Africa, please play more. Because that's a game especially for the African descendant in Brazil. They are the ones that try, but they cannot achieve what the African descendant can. And now at the Pan American Games, we could see the Brazilian girls doing such a wonderful, and they won the gold medal. And the last game was against the Americans, which is the best in the world, and they won 5-0. And the next day was in the news all over Brazil.